What's up? What's up? What's going down, everybody? Hopefully, you guys can hear me. If you can, just give me a thumbs up if you're listening in. This is Circle Talk. Thank you guys for being here on this Saturday. Uh, we had a guest that was supposed to be on um, this week, but unfortunately, he couldn't make it. So, last minute, we had to come up with a concept, something that we could talk about and discuss for this week. So, there's been a lot of thing going on, a lot of things going on in the news. Obviously, a lot of shootings and death and negativity and turmoil in our world today. And I think anxiety is a huge thing that stems in a lot of these situations in people's lives. And so today I wanted to talk a little bit about anxiety and what it means, not only to my life, but to yours as well. So, if you're here, we appreciate you for being here. If you would like to share this out, please go ahead and do so. First off, let me give a shout out to our sponsors. First off, iShotya.com. If you're in the Washington area, Tacoma, Lakewood, anywhere in the Pierce County area, my guy Marvin Patterson, he is the one that you want to call to come and have do your pictures for you. Obviously, the picture behind me, that's me and my kids. My buddy Marvin took those pictures for me and all the other pictures in my house. So please make sure you guys hit up iShotya.com. Let him know I sent you. He'll give you a great discount. Next is Icon ENT. Thank you so much to Junior Thomas for continuing to support the Circle and Circle Talks and everything that we do around the Circle. Without him, we would probably not be here. So thank you for continuing to be a huge part of what we do here at Circle Talk. And then finally, Chayah Fashion, our girl Zakia. Thank you so much for continuing to support me, sister. I've known you for many, many years. And once I found out what you were doing with your life, I knew that it was necessary for us to connect and create magic together. So make sure you guys go check out Chayah Fashion and Zakia and everything that she is doing within her realm of her nonprofit and her clothing line. So check it out. What is anxiety? What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a guest in to start this show off correctly. And I've known her for, I would say, probably since January. I think we met in January at the Shop Culture Live meet and greet. And I've seen her face all over the place. She's such a bubbly, beautiful person with so much vibrance and aura about her. I'm really excited to have this conversation and talk a little bit about anxiety in her life and how she has dealt with it. So without further ado, we're going to bring on Chantel Shelby. Hopefully I said it right. She's going to kill me if I didn't.
That's okay. That's okay.
I am so sorry. I know I messed it up.
Oh my gosh.
But,
you are too funny.
Hey, how are you doing today, madam?
I am doing good today. Cleaning day.
Absolutely. You know what? And just so you guys know, anybody that is watching, this is literally like I hit her up probably about 20 minutes before the show was supposed to start. And she was like, yo, I am not dressed. I am literally walking out of the shower, not ready for anything, but
I'm here.
So you know what? She made it, and thank you so much for being here.
You're so
And
very welcome.
I just heard from shout out to my girl Tiffany. She was like, "Yo, you need to hit her up. She knows all about it. She could tell you her ins and outs of the things that she's gone through in her life."
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Okay, well, let me see what's up then."
Okay.
So,
yeah, for sure. For sure.
So tell me a little bit about your thoughts of anxiety in your life.
Never controlled. It is it's just something that when you have any type of anxiety, whether it's for a happy situation, like graduations are happening now, so kids are really anxious, to get across the stage and, just, you know, feel the love that's around them and stuff. But
Hmm.
and then you have to look at it kind of on the more dramatic side.
Hmm.
So my start with anxiety started like that. You're anxious for the happy stuff, your
Yeah.
graduations and weddings and having kids and, all of the happy stuff. But my dramatic anxiety came when I lost my oldest son in
Okay.
2020. So with that dramatic anxiety, it was just like the cold sweats
Hmm.
and looking over your shoulder and everything's an emergency, and it builds up to where you just like you're spilling over with so much different emotions
Hmm.
that it's just like you're sad, you're mad, you're happy, you're sad again, you're mad, you're happy, and it's not just one of them at a different time like normal people would feel. It's all
Yeah.
of them at the same time.
Wow.
So um for me, my best outlet for my anxiety was to put myself in counseling, to bring
Hmm.
somebody in that had no knowledge of the situation,
Hmm.
and that could just be that listening ear to the situation and give rounded feedback to what I was experiencing at that time.
Right. Right. So, for me, I want to say, I'm sorry, for the loss of your son.
Thank you.
Um,
Appreciate it.
um, for me, I always, when I think about anxiety, I always think about negativity, like a lot of
Right.
bad things stemming around, someone's regular day to day situation. Like my daughter, really is the reason I even know what it means. When she was in high school, my oldest daughter, she had a lot of anxiety because she thought that everyone was against her. Everybody thought she was ugly.
Yeah.
Nobody really accepted her because she had to deal with this whole race thing where black people didn't like her and white people didn't like her because of
Right.
the color of her skin. So my
Mm,
daughter in high school, she ended up moving to 4 different high schools before she finally graduated because of the thoughts that continued to go through her mind. Is there
right.
a positive? Because I know you had mentioned something about positives when it comes to anxiety. Is there a form of anxiety that you get from the good things that are happening to you?
There is. It's like, um, let me see. So it's like it's like it's kind of like excitement, but it's
Mhm,
it's an overwhelming feeling. So
mm,
it's kind of like when for me, when
mhm.
I'm on my way home, right? I have my youngest son,
Yeah,
uh, Davion, and so it's like I get anxious to see him, but not
okay.
in a bad way. But I just love being around my son.
Yeah,
So it's there are positive sides to anxiety. It's
interesting.
just we see and focus more on the negative part
Yeah,
because it can be easier to deal with that negative part than that anxiety of excitement because you don't know what else to do
right.
with that love energy is the best way that I can best describe it to you. It's just like, it's a person that or space that you want to be around, and
Yeah.
you want to get there as quick as possible.
So for someone out there that's listening, you said you went to counseling.
Yes.
Um, Me personally, I'm not into the whole counseling thing, but I
And that's
know it
okay.
can benefit others. And I know it can benefit. What would be an outlet for someone like myself that's not really into being in front of somebody? How can I deal with my anxiety if I don't necessarily want to be in front of somebody and have them tell me how to live my life and how to deal with things? What would be
Right.
an
I got really big into like meditation,
mm,
taking myself out of taking myself away from everything that's going on around me and putting myself in a calm, quiet place. And
mhm,
it's not necessarily like it has to be like quiet, quiet. It could be soft music or I'm big on diffusers.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
big on
yeah.
diffusers, so I like the light and the smell and stuff like it, and just have this calming time where you don't
Mhm.
have to think about anything. And as a parent, we constantly thinking, doing, taking,
Absolutely.
showing, and just constantly on the move, to where you have to put yourself somewhere like stop.
Yeah,
You have to stop, because if you don't, you're going to burn yourself out. I mean, just that
absolutely.
anxiety, it will make you, the negative part of anxiety will make you sick. It
Yeah.
will literally make you sick. You will not feel, you'll feel basically like when you have the flu,
Hmm.
just like your body reacts to that emotion that you're going through. So
So,
yeah, the meditation was one.
mhm,
Um, and even like taking a long walk or going somewhere that is uh like most people like to be around water, or or they go in the woods, or and there's like specific places where you can go and kind of just not think.
right, right. So is have you ever dealt with an anxiety attack? Because I know there's levels to this thing called anxiety.
Right.
Um, an anxiety attack is that something that you dealt with during, obviously, when you lost your son? That's probably something that uh,
Right.
definitely dealt with. Um, how? I mean, like, I, 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 I don't, I personally, um, I couldn't imagine. You
Right.
know, I have five kids, four girls, and my little boy.
Kids. Oh my
Yeah,
Lord.
I got a little squad, but to lose one of them,
Yes.
even the ones that just hit you in the head all the time and just
Right.
won't follow you by no means,
Yeah.
will give you the hard time till the day they leave this earth. I couldn't imagine it, but
Yeah.
I deal with a lot of anxiety just trying to make them happy.
Right. Yeah.
So I can't even imagine what it would be like, to lose one of them.
Right.
Um, I just how did you make it through? Obviously, counseling is a huge thing.
Yes.
Did you
For
have
me, it
a
was a huge
support
thing. Like you say,
system?
you're not a counseling type of person, but I knew I needed to have a springboard person that was not part of my situation,
Yeah.
and did not have and was biased
Mhm.
on what was going on at that
Mhm.
moment.
Yeah.
Um, I think my first anxiety attack was probably, I want to say, about a month after.
Mhm.
And it's like you can't breathe. It's like
Yeah.
you can inhale, but you can't exhale. It's like
Right.
your heart beats fast. You feel like you're having how they describe a heart attack is basically
Mhm.
how it feels. It's
Wow.
like your whole body is just shutting down.
Yeah.
um and the getting through, you don't really get through. You kind of,
Yeah.
you
There's
push
levels.
through, but you don't get through. You don't get over it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's just like, anxiety attacks are not, and I mean, it's just like, you just, your everything just shuts down. Your brain, your motor skills, your everything just shuts down, to where it's like, I can see and I can hear what's going on, but I
Yeah.
can't react to what's going on.
Yeah. It's interesting. Um, and the biggest reason why I thought about this is because I've been dealing with anxiety myself
Yeah.
recently. Um, I've always been the type of person that has always had a ton of options. And, like, I don't really discuss all that, but, like, I mean, I got five kids, for baby mamas. I mean, obviously, I've been doing a lot in my day,
Yeah.
but to get to a place in my life where I wanted to change my life around and not be out in them streets doing that dirt
Yeah.
that I used to do
Yeah.
back in the day, trying to be a one woman man and figure out, who that person is for
Right.
me. It's been a struggle, like a real struggle, because I've come across people that I've been extremely, like, into, but
Right.
then, you find out things about this person once you get into them, and
Right.
uh, it just derails and not doesn't work out.
Right.
And so I've been dealing with a lot of anxiety. Just, is there really anyone out there for me? Like I've been in this relationship with this female, and then, it's been great for about 6 months. And then the seventh month, I find out all this other stuff that isn't about me.
Yeah.
And then I'm questioning her, and I'm feeling really insecure. And, all of a sudden there's no conversation, and I'm wondering what's going on. And then that's when it hit me. It's like, what is
Right.
happening to me right now? Why am I breathing so hard? Why am
Yeah.
I calling this person 10, 12 times in a matter of minutes? Like, what is happening to me?
Yeah.
I'm having an attack. I didn't
Yeah.
realize what it was, but I'm jumping in my car and I'm driving, like, out of control driving,
Yeah.
to figure out why you're not answering my phone calls.
Wow.
Like, that's what it's been for me, and I really didn't realize what it was until I sat back. I got, like, literally, I got to her house, and I'm like, "Why am I here?
Yeah. Wow.
Over a phone call?"
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like I
I've
said,
never been this
everything
way.
shuts down. Your
Yes.
mind, everything. It just it's like nothing is computing. Nothing is logical. It's just all it's all action, 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 action. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then finally when you calm down, you sit back and you're like, okay.
I'm like, "Why am I here?" Like,
Yeah.
really? It's 4 o'clock in the morning. She's not
Wow.
she's not answering the phone, probably because she's asleep.
Right. Right.
People sleep at night, but when you're so used to something being a certain way, and always having things just go operate the way that you're used to them operating,
Yeah.
and now they're not, because you're not doing things like you were in your younger days. It's like
Yeah.
trying to understand it all and comprehend it. And, I've really been trying to find the answers to the questions, when it comes to these anxiety
Yeah.
episodes that, I have. I don't know. How often do you have episodes, do you think, since?
Oh gosh. They I say maybe since, oh God, since so it's been 2 years. So well over maybe two or 300
Wow.
attacks, honest to goodness attacks. And they happen, and it's not like they happen when you're at home in your safe space. They happen in the public. They happen
Mhm.
at work. They happen in the car when I'm
Yeah.
driving. It's just weird because I won't even be thinking about it. I
Yeah.
won't I won't be thinking about Devin. I won't be thinking about the accident. I won't be thinking any of that. And it
Yeah.
will just boom, hit me, all of it. And it's just like, you replay and replay and replay that the day, that it all happened. And it's
Mm.
just like, and then the what ifs creep in, of course. What if I would have told him not to go up there? What if I would have,
Yeah.
made him stay home with his brother? What if I would, and it's just like, and then it becomes that negative, that dramatic anxiety that just it and literally it will make you stop what you're doing
Mhm.
and kind of, now I have to get my breathing under control. Now I have to get my heart rate back down. Now I have to be able to focus on where am I? Because
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
will make you, you'll be disoriented,
Let me.
and I could be on my way home. I know how to get home, but it's
Yeah.
like when one when one hits you, you're just
Yeah.
like, okay, where am I? Or where was I going? And you just really have to just think of that meditation. I mean, just I've had to pull on the side of a road many a times
Yeah.
to just orient myself back to where I am and just be able to make it home or make it to a family member's house or a friend's house, to
Mhm.
somewhere where I know that I'm not being, that I'm not in my right mind to be driving, or, you know, not in my right mind to be at work, that I can put myself in a space where I can orient myself back to where I can function. Sorry, my son just blew me a kiss.
That's okay. That's okay. Let's say what's up. Tell him I said what's up.
That was my
Hey, is there a difference between anxiety from losing somebody versus anxiety from breaking up in a relationship or something? Is there any difference between the two?
I think the emotion behind the anxiety is different. There's still that love part, of course, you know, because you love, you know, the person that
Yeah,
you lost. Of course, you
true,
love the
true.
person that you were with. But it's like,
Okay, so losing a job, like
yeah,
your
no, I'm fine.
career job.
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's. I mean, there's people that get anxiety over that as well. You know, you could be
Yeah,
in the job that your dream career, and you
right,
doing it for umpteen years, and all of a sudden you get that call saying, "Hey, we don't need you here anymore."
right, right. And then
And
yeah, it's, and then you have, you know, well, you go through those emotions. You're mad, you're sad, you know, you're mad and you're sad because now I don't have my job, and you know,
yeah,
and I'm, you know, and I'm sad because, you know, of course, you know, we get attached to our coworkers
mhm,
and so on and so forth. And
absolutely,
then you're like, oh, okay, well, this could be a good thing. Maybe I could go back to school or pursue entrepreneurship, or, you know, something that you had kept sidelining because you were so busy with that. But
mhm,
then it would be that sense of urgency, like, okay, now I don't have a job anymore, and that's where that attack would find its place. It would find its place there, because now I have to figure out how to make money. I have to figure out how to pay bills. I have to figure out, you know, my life
yeah,
situation, my family, my house, my cars, my whatever. And
right,
so that's when the attack would set in, and then that's when that disorientation or those random actions start to happen. You
mhm,
know,
absolutely,
you're yelling at this person, or you know, you're yelling at that person, or you just have these outbursts, and you know, and it's not something that I don't think that you can control. It's not something that, you know, that even somebody that's close to you can say, man, you just need to stop. It has to happen, because if you
mhm,
don't release that, then you're going to walk around with it, and you're just going to, and you're always going to be anxious. Your body can't be tense like that all the time.
right, right. So, have you ever dealt with it in a relationship?
I am going to say yes.
I
I am.
ask because I mean, you're a beautiful woman. I'm sure
Thank
that
you.
you've, had plenty of people all over you, flocking you, trying to
Oh,
get at
wow.
you, and like,
Well, as a new divorcee
yeah,
in my relationship with my ex-husband, it was an emotional thing more than
mhm,
anything. It was a lot of disconnect in that, and it was the emotional things that he was doing to me is what created
mhm.
the anxiety, because
Okay,
it's like you can't you can't really wrap your brain around somebody who is your partner putting you through that, and you're just, it's the why thing, like why it, I don't understand why this is the way it is right now, you know what I
mm,
mean?
yeah,
So yeah, a lot of the anxiety from that, from being married. I was married for 23 years.
wow,
So yeah, long time.
yeah, no time,
So and it was my decision to
yeah,
end it, because it's
right,
like you can only deal with so much. You can
right,
only deal with so, and this is, you know, everything that's happened in the past few years. It's like that's a lot of weight on
right,
a person who is already, and I don't like to put it in this term, but not mentally stable.
gotcha,
I and I'm still not. I'm not on the crazy tip, but
yeah, yeah, yeah,
just not mentally stable enough to be able to process, still processing the loss of Devin, and now processing the divorce with my husband. It's a lot of stuff that goes on
Absolutely.
in your brain that you're just like, okay, if one more thing happens, I'm literally going to snap. I mean, Western
Yeah,
State,
yeah.
here I come, type deal. So it's just like, yeah. So just dealing with just the whole divorce as a whole. I don't recommend it for anybody, but oh my God, it was a lot. But,
Yeah.
but
Which
yeah,
part? The
just,
divorce or the marriage? You don't recommend divorce?
oh no, I do not. I do not recommend it.
Okay.
For me, it had to happen because of my mental instability. It
Right.
was not going, it wasn't going to repair, if that
Gotcha.
makes any sense. If there
Oh,
was no repair there. So,
absolutely.
so it was like he was never gonna, end it. I mean, he just wasn't. And so I had to take it upon myself to end it for both of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this is just what I'm thinking is, can anxiety be something that's a genetic thing, passed through genetics?
That's a good question. I don't think so. I think it's a situational type of mental illness. I really do think it is. It's whatever situation that you're in. Like I said, within the graduation, you're in a situation to where you're happy and excited, and that anxiety and all of those emotions all in one thing can
Mhm.
create that anxiety. And losing somebody, you're sad and you're mad and you're just angry, and all of that is situational. It happens in that moment. um and also in love, it can be anxiety after having a fight, anxiety after when and after you meet somebody. It's a situation. It's the
Mhm.
situation that creates the anxiety.
Absolutely. Do they have, and I mean, I don't know, you may know the answer to this. I'm not sure, but do they have medication for people that have anxiety?
They do. I have been on a couple in the past few years, and it does help.
Mm.
um if you can take the holistic approach to it,
Mm.
I mean, it definitely works for people.
Mm.
For me, mine was so advanced that I had to see, like I said, my mental instability. I was off. I mean,
Yeah.
I was literally just like happy one minute, mad the next minute, sad the minute, and all of these anxious feelings took
Mm.
over. So I had to find a way to get myself back on not an even baseline, but a baseline I could work with.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I
Absolutely.
mean, but a holistic approach to it, whether it's CBD or, smoking the tweeds or, meditation, yoga. I mean, there are a lot of different things out there that people use to treat their anxiety. And all of it works. I mean, whether it's the medication or the holistic approach, if it works for you, do it. Use
Mm.
it.
Absolutely.
Apply it to your life, because I mean, any little bit, any little bit you can get to help the feeling. Like you said, you've been dealing with it. Your daughter,
Yeah.
any type of relief from this feeling
Mhm.
is it? Oh my God! It just puts you in a whole different mindset.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I never thought about, I'm not a big medication dude either. Like, I'm
It's like
my
she doing
mom,
all the stuff I ain't
hey,
gonna do.
my mama raised us. My mama raised us all natural, everything. We had a
Yeah.
broken finger, broken foot. Go sit down somewhere. Yeah,
Oh my God.
go sit somewhere.
Whole arm hanging off. Go get some
Reset,
tissues and be
go to
quiet.
your room and take a nap. You know what I'm saying?
You can
She
take
was.
it down.
She said, "Go to the room, take a nap. Drink some
Yeah,
water, boy. Just
that's
get
right.
away from
That's
me.
right.
That was just how my parents, raised us.
Right.
They raised us just to be natural and go through the things, that
Yeah.
you have to go through. And so, I mean, that's just kind of how I am. I don't take any medication. I don't drink, smoke. I don't, do any drugs or anything like that. I'm kind of a square bear, but like
And that's
I'm
okay.
okay. I'm okay though. You know what I'm
That's
saying? I'm
right.
okay.
That's
I'm
right.
healthy and I'm happy and you know I got anxiety. So
Hey, hey.
that's why we're here. What I'm saying?
I'm telling you, so definitely look into the holistic side. Yoga. My counselor had mentioned to me that, yoga is a good thing because it puts you in a space um of calm.
Mhm.
And you need that for somebody whose mind races like mine. Like some days I'm just like, I can go to sleep like that.
Yeah.
But some days when I get anxious,
Oh
I
yeah.
can stay up until 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning and then go to work for a whole day and come home and still be up. You know
Yeah.
what I
Still,
mean?
still be
So it's different.
wired.
It's just different. Yeah, it's different for everybody. Everybody handles it totally differently. Some
Yeah.
people get, creative to where
Mhm.
they are up, moving, building stuff, and
Yeah.
it's just different for everybody. Mine, I just get the worst insomnia to
Mhm.
where I am just like wide awake for no reason.
Yeah.
Wide awake for no reason.
Why
And I
am I
come out here, I
still
come
up?
out here in my
Yeah.
cave with my jewelry, and I'll be out here for hours,
Yeah.
hours and hours and hours. And then, well, because there's one window in here in my garage, but it's like frosted, so you can't really tell if it's daylight, or
Yeah.
it's like dusk getting dark. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So
okay. Okay. Okay.
so I mean, hours and hours go by. I'm out here, and then I realize, oh shit. My son he made it. Well, he cooks amazing. This kid,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
done made dinner, cleaned up, showered, went to bed.
Wow.
I mean, and I'll just still be out here because that anxiety will not let me sit still long enough um, to process whatever's in my brain. Whatever I'm thinking about, I have to move with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Um, so let me ask you about this situation that happened
Okay.
this week. Um, you know about everything that happened in Texas, right?
Yes. Yes.
So what's your take on it, and what would you say to the mother
Mm,
that is now she's obviously been dealing with a lot of anxiety from her son,
right. Right.
but then now he goes and does this, and now she has the whole world.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
What do you say to her?
David, don't have me crying on this live. Um, it gets better. It does. I mean, you cannot sit in that space. You can't sit there. Um, God damn it, David.
Sorry.
You can't for your life, for being a mom, for my life. You can't sit there. You can't dwell there. You can't constantly think about the bad part. You know what I mean? So losing him was the bad part.
Yeah.
Um, Not having the resolution, I think, or the conclusion to this is the worst part
Right.
because you never can go, you can't go back and say, okay, let me do this. And then I know that my outcome is going to be different.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't, there's no way to stop what's already happened.
Yeah.
So I just say to her and to any other mom that has lost, a child in a dramatic fashion like that. Ours was dramatic too.
Yeah.
Um, you just cannot dwell there. It will literally kill you if you do.
Absolutely.
You'll just literally worry yourself to death. You know how the older people say, quit worrying, you're gonna worry yourself to death. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
is. It's a real thing.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
well, dang it, David. Well, you got me on the line.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't. I just feel like it's important for us to talk about that
Yeah,
because a lot of people will just brush it off. It's the now we're dealing with this too much these days, and I think we as parents we have to change whatever it is that we're doing.
right,
Because it's obviously not working when our kids feel like it's okay to buy guns to shoot up schools
right,
just cause. Um,
right,
we're doing something wrong, and like I can't even imagine like these type of things. I can't even imagine being the mother in that situation.
right.
Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Being the mom in the situation is, I think, one of the worst parts because these kids come from us. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Dad has his part, but yeah, but these kids come from us. When they get hurt, when they're sad, when they're angry, when they're mad, they come to mom.
mhm.
Usually, almost like 99.93% of the time, they come to mom.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
They
yeah,
come to
for
mom
sure.
first. So when it's a situation to where your child is lashing out, or is in a situation to where they can be hurt or hurt somebody else, it affects mom the most because it's always, what did I do wrong,
Yeah,
type of
yeah,
thing. Like I said, it's like that you want to go back, like, how can I change this? But then the situation has already happened.
right.
And there's no, like I said, there's no taking it back. There's no going
No,
back and fixing.
no,
This is not a fixable thing,
no.
because once you're gone, you're gone. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy. I was reading up a little bit on it, and the idea that he's talking to someone in Germany, I think it was, or
Yeah.
France or somewhere, and talking about doing this stuff, and the Texas law stating that he can buy a gun at 18 and buy all those rounds like as soon as he dropped out of school, like
Hmm.
all this stuff. Like as a parent, something is going on. Something
Right.
is if he's not listening to anything that you have to say he's not following the rules of the land.
Hmm.
Obviously, with his grandparents for a reason,
Right.
staying for a reason. So, um, how? I mean, I don't really know. I'm trying to think of the way to prevent something like this from happening moving forward, but I don't know if it's possible. Only
Yeah.
thing we can do is just stay at it, stay on them.
Right.
Like, they're not gonna listen, but as a parent, we just have to continue loving them and explaining to
Right.
them that regardless of if we see eye to eye, I love you,
Yeah.
to the day I leave this
Mhm.
earth. I love you and I want what's best for you. Whatever ideas and thoughts in your mind that you're kind of going through, we can work through this. You
Right.
don't have to be
And
alone.
check in on them. Check in on your kids.
You have to.
Don't
You
let them
have
sit on the game for hours. Don't let them. We go outside and, we go and do stuff. And oh Lord, he's learning how to drive. So I let him drive me around. That's a whole different kind of
yeah,
anxiety, honey.
yeah, yeah.
Things like this terrible event that happened in Texas. This is the
Right.
type of stuff that you need to talk to your kids about,
Yeah.
even if they're not. in the age bracket. Like my son is 17, right? So he's older. He understands what's
Yeah.
going on. Of course, they've had conversations with their friends, and
Yeah.
they've had the conversations with the teachers with them at school. But then you need to kind of round it, make that full circle when they come home. Like, hey, so you heard what was happening in Texas? How
Mm.
do you feel about that?
Right.
Let them dump on you. Let
Right.
them get it out. That
Absolutely.
it is a
Mm.
very big thing to let them express it to you and not be judgmental.
Conversation, having um, educated adult conversations, even as a teenage boy,
Right.
it builds maturity. You
It
guys have
does.
a better understanding of, mom and son, and the respect factor is there,
Right.
that you guys can talk about these kind of things, and
Yeah.
you know he feels okay with his answer, and he knows mom's going to give hers, and he's going to respect mom for giving her
Right.
answer as well, and her constructive criticism on his answer. So I
Right.
mean, it's all the tools to creating a sensible human being. And I think a lot of these situations are being missed, and even in my life, like I've been pretty fortunate to have really wonderful kids. Like my two
Yes.
oldest went to high school, college, doing really well for themselves.
Right.
My 13-year-old's the one. She need a little extra. She need a little extra attention, but
Yeah.
I love her just as much as I love the rest of mine.
Yeah.
Uh, and then my little guy and my 12-year-old. But um, just gotta make sure that you're checking up on them, you're staying in
Yep.
contact, and having these conversations.
Yep.
Conversation will let you know exactly what they're thinking, and
Right. And
make
they're
them.
very vocal. They're very vocal nowadays.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
he'll tell me, Mom, I don't appreciate what he said. He said to me the other day, and I kind of had to stop. Like, wait a minute, what? He said,
Yeah.
I don't appreciate you coming in here like that. This way he said to me, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. And he's like, and I was like, well, what don't you appreciate? He says, you just being an awesome mom. What?
Oh.
They come out the woodworks with this stuff, but some days,
Absolutely.
and everybody, like I said, I have my days where I have to just kind of like close myself off.
Yeah.
And his thing to deal with his anxiety is he wants to be up under me. Now, mind you, I am 5'7". He is almost 6'4". And he wants to come and lay up under mom. And I'm like, so you're taking the whole bed, but I mean, I guess I
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
deal with this for a little bit while you're in here with
Yeah.
me. So
But
they will vocally and physically show you that they want to be around you. And I am just I just thank God that he still want to be around me.
absolutely.
Because after some kids after a certain amount of time, they're like, okay, you can go. No, not him. He's
Yeah.
like, nope. When I do my chauffeur shop culture, he waits for me to come
Yeah.
home before he even goes to bed. He's like, oh, I'll just
That's
wait for you to
good.
come home. Okay, good night.
That's
You know what
key.
I mean?
That's
So
cool.
it gives him a sort of kind of that I'm trying to think of the best word for this. It gives him that sense of security.
Absolutely. Yep.
So because he does not like to be in a space by himself. He does not
Mhm.
like to be by himself at all. And I can definitely understand that his energy, like mine, is from people, from being around people, right? So
Yeah.
when he's here alone, he gets really anxious. So he's like ready. When I get off work, he's like, okay, I'm ready for you to come home now. I'm like, do you need anything from the store? He's like, I don't need anything. Just come home.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So just watch for their triggers. I know that him being alone is a trigger for him.
Yeah.
So he can be in a space alone for an extended period of time.
Mhm.
So if I leave town, like I left town, he wouldn't stay with my sister. And And it's so funny because everybody's like, he's 17. I'm like, but I know my son.
Right.
And he is not going to fare well for me being gone for 3 days and him being here alone. He's not
Yeah.
going to fare well.
Right.
You
Right.
know, so you just have to know not only your own anxiety triggers, but those of your children,
Absolutely.
you know, because he's like, you know, of course he was ready for me to come get him because, you know, he likes to be in his own, you know, in his own room. But
Yeah.
I mean, you know, he thrives being around people.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's so. I'm so glad that we jumped into that because I think it's important for people to hear that, especially not just from your perspective, but from your son's perspective, from
Yeah.
a mom that has not only lost her son, but has to deal with the idea that her son has committed a heinous crime to the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and
It's
she'll
crazy.
she'll never be able to go anywhere without people being like, "Oh, that's his mom. That's his mom."
Right.
Because
Right. She just needs to know that's not her burden.
yeah,
That is not her burden.
yeah,
Oh my God. The release part of that is probably the best part for me is that I didn't personally cause the accident for my son.
hmm,
And just and when it when it happened, it was immediately like, oh my God, I let him go up there. I let him, travel far away from home and I let him go with his friends and I let him, I let him, I let him. So once I released that part, oh my gosh, so much better.
hmm,
So much better.
well, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We had a good conversation. We didn't even get too deep into it. I thought it was pretty good for
Yeah.
us doing this off the whim, like
Yeah.
5 minutes in and just let's go.
Let's
Uh,
go.
I'm very thankful that you were available. Um, you know, I'm a firm believer in faith, and everything's happened. Everything happens for a reason,
Yeah.
and you are right. You were right on time, and I appreciate you so much
Oh,
for.
thanks.
I do.
Hey,
I
I
really
mean, when I saw the topic, I was kind of like, this is
do.
not really one thing that I like to touch on
Yeah,
publicly, you know. But I'm glad that you did reach out, and
absolutely.
I'm glad that I can do a 5-minute face real quick, and, and jump on
You're
and
beautiful.
just be kind of a voice
Absolutely.
for somebody that might be going through
Yeah.
or going through my situation to where you have lost a child and now what do you do?
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So say something
That's
real quick. Say something real quick. Somebody's watching, sitting at
yep.
home, wanting to go ahead and hurt themselves. Uh,
mm,
what do you say to that person right now? They're watching right now, and they really need some words of encouragement. What are you gonna tell
I am going to tell them I would tell them to look at the situation that is putting you there.
them?
Is this situation so grave at this time that you are considering taking yourself out of the situation permanently, or can you take yourself out of the situation and move on?
Mhm.
Is it to me, I don't think that anything that is going on or has gone on with me, I need to
Mhm.
take myself out permanently.
Right.
It is a situation that I can take myself out of and move on.
Okay.
And there is definite healing in the moving on. Definitely take the situation at face value and move on. You
Yeah.
will be okay. I promise you, you will be okay.
Absolutely.
Take the steps to get yourself to where your mind can process without always thinking of it as the negative.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you
Yep.
have to look at the good of you being here. What is the good of you being here? Me being here, I get to see that young man grow up.
Yeah.
I get to see my nieces and nephews. I
Yep.
get to be with my sisters every day. I get to go to a job that I love. I mean, there's always that pro to that con.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And believe me, there's more pros than cons right now. I tell you what.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just always look at it eyes wide open. Don't half think it. Don't, oh, well, I guess. No, think it through
Mm-hmm.
and then reach out. Reach out to somebody, your mom or your parents, your like I said, me and my sisters are close. Your sisters, your cousin, your homeboy down the street.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be anybody that you can go to and dump this out and just put it on the table.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, if you hold it in, that worry will kill you. It
Yeah.
literally will kill you. Dump it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Eat you alive.
Yes,
I
sir.
know that. I know that's right. Well, shoot. Thank you again. I had to hit you with a curveball because
That's
I
okay.
always like to end on an up note.
Yes.
You know, turning negatives into positives is really what I love to do in my life. So
Yeah. I love it.
it is. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. This is Circle
Thanks,
Talk.
guys.
The
Yes.
anxiety in us. We thank you guys for being here. We'll be back next week. It's June. We got a bunch of
Yes.
birthdays in June. My two oldest daughters' birthdays in June. My birthday's in June. My nephew's birthday's in June, and my
Oh,
brother's
come on,
birthday.
June babies.
So June is going down. And I got
Yes.
some amazing guests coming up. I won't give them out right yet, but I will be posting a link for you guys to see the guests for next month. It's going to be an exciting one. There's going to be a little birthday party for me, so you'll see some specials. Singers in the house. Some of my favorite singers will be in the house for my birthday. So
Wow.
watch out for that
Yeah.
event coming up. June 17th is going down. But thank you guys so much for viewing Circle Talk for today. You guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you again, Shante.
Not a problem.
All right, y'all. Take care. We'll see you next time. Peace.